and welcome back to Blatantly Bookish. I'm Marissa, and I am in my parents' house. I just came back from the annual book sale in my hometown that I look forward to all year long. This book sale is massive. There is a whole auditorium and hallway filled with books. I took some little vloggy kind of videos to show you, so I'll show you what this book sale is like right now. There are so many books. So many books. Hardbacks, paperbacks, sports section, you name it. The whole auditorium is full. And then there's even more outside the auditorium in the hallway. It's a really big hallway, you'll see. There you go. And there are books on the floors, under the tables, and outside in a tent. So I think you get the scale of this book sale and how I really limited myself with these book selections. But first, I'll show you some of the childhood favorites that I picked up. So, the first childhood favorite I picked up is Harriet the Spy. And a lot of these childhood favorites I picked up, I really want to reread. I saw them at the book sale, and they brought back such delightful memories of reading when I was a child. And I haven't read these books in so long, I would love to revisit them. So Harriet the Spy is definitely one of those. I wanted to be Harriet when I grew up, or when I was that age. I also got A Wrinkle in Time, which is another one of my favorites when I was younger, and so I'd love to reread it. As well as The Ear, the Eye, and the Arm, which is this fantastic mystery book that takes place in Zimbabwe and features three really strange detectives that are trying to find some missing children. And of course, the detectives' names are the Ear, the Eye, and the Arm. They have superpowers that they have obtained from a nuclear accident, I believe. So I can't wait to reread this one. There's also The Weston Game by Ellen Raskin. This was probably the first mystery. That might not be true. I might have read some Nancy Drews. This was the most memorable mystery that I read when I was a child, and if you are interested in the mystery genre, if you like the idea of Clue, where it's sort of like somebody in this room did it kind of thing, if you like the idea of inheritances and mystery surrounding wills, I think you would love this book. And another book that I have really fond memories of from childhood, actually I think 6th grade I read this one, is A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, and you can see I picked up a really pristine copy. If you guys haven't read this book, please do, or any of these childhood books. Obviously they've stayed in my mind for so long, and if you know anything about me, I don't usually remember things very well when it comes to literature, besides how much I liked them. But these books all really stand out to me in a sea of childhood reading experiences. So if you have somebody around 4th or 5th grade age, or if you just want to read some excellent pieces of literature yourself, I recommend that you pick these up because going down memory lane here. 2 other books that I picked up I haven't actually read, but I'd like to read Phillip Pullman's Dark Materials series. Now, I picked up The Golden Compass in this gorgeous edition. I'm not usually one for cover buys, but this is just such a pretty cover, and the spine even has decoration too. And I actually already own the 3rd one of this, but I picked up the 1st and the 2nd in the series at this book sale. So now I have a complete set that actually matches, which is insane because I never own any sets that match. All of my books are mismatched, all of my silverware and china is all mismatched, so I'm just sort of a mismatched person except for this book series, I guess. And then I picked up a whole bunch of, not a whole bunch, but some short story and poetry collections. Now, poetry was not the book sale's strong suit this year. It actually was kind of disappointing, I'm not gonna lie. They had a lot of like love poem anthologies or collections, but I wasn't really interested in those. They didn't have any new poetry. I really wanted to pick up some Mary Oliver or something like that, but no, alas, they did not have any. So instead, I picked up Edna St. Vincent Millay's selected poems. Edna St. Vincent Millay is one of my favorite poets. I feel like she's an underrated poet. I believe she went to my alma mater, so she has a special place in my heart as well. And I can't wait to read more of her poems. I've never had this many of them in one place before. So Deci has joined us on the bed. We'll just work around her. I also picked up a copy of J.D. Salinger's Raise High the Roof Beam Carpenters and Seymour, an introduction. Now, I think this book is actually sort of 2 novellas or 2 short stories. I'm not really sure, but I'm very excited for it because I've read Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger, and I also read Frenny and Zoe by J.D. Salinger. So I'm really excited for this one, and I actually also picked up at this book sale a copy of Catcher in the Rye, and it's just such a gorgeous copy. So there's a few iconic Catcher in the Rye book covers, and this is one of my favorites. Sorry, Deci, you're really distracting. But this one, I saw it in Powell's bookstore used for $10, and I was thinking, should I buy it? And I refrained from buying it, which I'm glad about because I purchased it at this book sale for $1, and it is just gorgeous. So another short story collection novel duo that I picked up is by Junot Díaz. I absolutely loved The Brief and Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde by Junot Díaz, and so I got a copy for myself at this book sale. But I also found a wonderful copy of Drown, which is his short story collection that I haven't read. This is really a wonderful copy. I'm so excited. It has annotations all over it. Let me find you a good page. You can see it has annotations all over it, and I'm really excited to not only read this book, but to read this person's annotations. If you guys don't understand my obsession with annotations, you can take a look up above. I will link my annotations video, in which I gush all about how much I love annotations. The next book I picked up is another old favorite of mine. It is George Orwell's Animal Farm. Now, I really wanted to also find 1984, and while we're on dystopians, I also wanted to find The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, because those are some of my favorite books of all time, I think. Yeah. But I only found Animal Farm, which is good enough for me. This is the exact copy that, well, not the exact copy, you know what I mean. This is the same edition that I read when I read it for the first time with the little pig on the front. So I was really, really happy to find this one. I also picked up Kurt Vonnegut's Cat's Cradle, and I read Cat's Cradle this past year and loved it. So I really wanted to own a copy for myself so I can reread it again, so I can read it and mark it up this time, and just to have it in my collection because I want to make an effort to have more books that I've loved in the past so I can revisit them. So those were my old favorites. Now we'll get into some new books that I actually haven't read that I purchased at the book sale. So the first one is The Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling. Now this book comes highly recommended by Katie from Books and Things, which is always a plus. And I am interested in reading what comes after Harry Potter. I mean, obviously this book isn't related to Harry Potter, but, you know, it's also written by J.K. Rowling, and I'm interested to see how her mind works and how she focuses on a more adult subject. I was also lucky enough to find the Man Booker Prize winner from 2016, which is Do Not Say We Have Nothing by Madeleine Thien, and this book is in pristine condition, and I am just really excited to read it, and I saw it there, and I just couldn't refuse picking it up. The next book is A Girl is a Half-Formed Thing, and I have heard such delightful things about this book. I can't wait to check it out. The next book I picked up was Half of a Yellow Sun by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Now, this book, I've been told by many people, is their favorite of her work, and I have been wanting to read it for a long time. I saw it at the book sale. I figured, why not? It's $1. Let's pick it up. The next one that I picked up was Toni Morrison's Jazz. I have read Beloved, I've read The Bluest Eye, and I am looking for another Toni Morrison to read, so perhaps this one is in the near future. I love Toni Morrison's work, but I can only read one of her novels about once every 4 years because they have such a devastating impact on me. If you've read her work, you know what I mean. Then I picked up two massive classics. One is Don Quixote by Cervantes, and this is a book that I've wanted to read for a while. I've heard that if you like fiction and storytelling, that this book is somewhat about that, and it is a massive book, which makes me less likely to take it out from the library because I'll worry that I'm not going to finish it in time, which is a stupid reason not to take something out from the library, but that's for another time. And so I figured, why not own a copy of my own, and I can go through it as slowly as I'd like. The other classic that I picked up was The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck. I recently watched a video in which Mary from Happily Ever Esh just gushed about this book, and I really want to read it. It's another pretty massive book, and I wanted a nice copy with, you know, pretty large or normal size print, nice and floppy, that I can just read through at my leisure. I also picked up Possession by A.S. Byatt. Now, this is one that I've heard of before, but didn't really know much about, and I was actually intrigued by the back on this one. Love story, Victorian, letters, journals, poems, all buzzwords that I found in the back of this book that it made me really want to read it and really want to pick it up. So another one from the book sale. And the final one I picked up from the book sale was How to Build a Girl by Caitlin Moran. Now, this book was one that was on my radar before. I think it'll be a sort of fun and lighter read, and yeah, I have a book buying problem, guys. Now all I have to do is find space for them on my shelves, because I don't know if you saw my most recent video, I'll post it up above, where I arrange my shelves, but there's only about half a shelf's worth of room, and this is definitely more than half a shelf's worth of books. So, yes. I also want to bring back some of my old favorites from my parents' house, my Bronte collection, and a few others that hopefully will find places on the shelves. So I'll have to do some rearranging again, I'm sure, but I'm really excited with this book haul. I'd love to hear from you guys if you've been to any really good book sales lately. What did you pick up recently? Have you read any of these books? Do you love any of these books? And are there any that I mentioned that you're just dying to read? I would love to hear all about what you think in the comments down below. Until next time, happy reading, and I look forward to seeing you in another video soon.